You can have the most expensive survival gear in the world, but if your mind is disorganized under pressure, you're just a librarian in a crisis. WWII soldiers survived with less because they were trained to think better. Their most powerful weapon wasn't in their hands, it was in their heads. Today we're not looking at what they carried. We're looking at how they thought. We're breaking down the 4 mental models that separated the living from the dead. This is cognitive armor for the modern prepper. Mindset 1, the OODA loop. This powerful mental model was developed by military strategist and U.S. Air Force Colonel John Boyd. He originally conceived it to explain how fighter pilots could win in air-to-air combat, but its applications extend to any high-stakes, rapidly evolving situation. It's a framework for making effective decisions under pressure. The acronym stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. It's a continuous cycle of information processing and action. In the chaos of a dogfight, the pilot who could cycle through this loop faster than his opponent would gain a decisive advantage, getting inside their decision cycle, disrupting their ability to react, and ultimately winning the engagement. This principle is just as critical on the ground as it is in the air. Unfortunately, most people get stuck right at the beginning, between observe and orient. In a crisis, it's easy to be paralyzed by the sheer volume of incoming information. You see the flashing lights, you hear the sirens, you feel the panic in the crowd. You are observing, but you are not processing. You're just collecting data without giving it meaning. This is the great filter where effective action goes to die. A soldier, on the other hand, is trained to orient instantly. Orienting is the most crucial step. It's where you synthesize the raw data from your observations and build a coherent mental picture of the situation. You're not just seeing, you're understanding. You're analyzing the new information and updating your worldview based on your training, experience, and cultural traditions. It's about building context and building it fast. This is where the brain asks critical, rapid-fire questions. Is that sound a twig snapping from a harmless animal, or is it the metallic click of a gun being cocked? The observation is just a sound. The orientation is what gives it life or death meaning. Is that dark formation on the horizon a harmless rain cloud promising relief, or is it a smoke plume from a wildfire moving your way? One means shelter in place, the other means immediate evacuation. The observation is just a cloud. The orientation determines your entire survival strategy. Once you have oriented, the next steps, decide and act, can happen almost instantaneously. Your goal in a crisis isn't just to see what's happening, it's to understand it, decide on a course of action, and execute it faster than the threat can react. By doing so, you seize the initiative. You force the opposing force, or even the crisis itself, to react to actions, shattering their own OODA loop and creating confusion and chaos for them. This is the essence of Boyd's theory. It's not about being the strongest or having the best equipment. It's about being the fastest thinker. In any conflict, from a firefight to a natural disaster, the side that can process the changing environment and adapt its actions accordingly will prevail. The one who orients fastest wins. Mindset 2. 2 is 1, and 1 is none. This isn't a call for hoarding or weighing yourself down with a mountain of gear. It's a strategic principle, a philosophy of resilience that was etched into the mind of every soldier. It's about anticipating failure, not just as a possibility, but as an inevitability. In the field, Murphy's Law isn't a pessimistic joke. It's a law of physics. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and usually at the worst possible moment. The soldier understood this. He didn't hope his gear would work. He planned for its failure. This is the concept of critical redundancy. Look at your core survival systems. Your primary fire starter, your primary water filter, your primary knife. If you only have one, you have a single point of failure. A single point of failure is a vulnerability that, if it breaks, brings the entire system crashing down. It's a chain with only one link. For a soldier, that single point of failure could mean the difference between a warm night and hypothermia, or between a safe return and being lost in enemy territory. A soldier knew that if his rifle jammed in the heat of combat, his pistol was his too. It wasn't just a backup, it was an immediate drilled transition. If his primary compass was damaged or lost, he didn't stop. He knew how to use the sun, the stars, and the landscape itself as his secondary and tertiary navigation tools. This wasn't just about having a second item, it was about having a second skill. The redundancy was built into his training, into his very way of thinking. He had layers of capability. So, apply this mindset to your own preparations. Don't just have one way to start a fire, have three. A primary lighter, a secondary ferro rod, and the tertiary knowledge to build a bow drill. Your primary is for convenience. Your secondary is for when convenience fails. Your tertiary is for when your gear is gone, and all you have left is your knowledge and your will. This layered approach removes panic from the equation. When the lighter gets wet, you don't feel despair. You feel prepared. You simply move to the next layer. This is the essence of 2 is 1 and 1 is none. It's a proactive declaration that you will not be defeated by a single predictable point of failure. It transforms you from a passive user of gear into an active manager of your own survival system. Because in the moment you truly need it, when the stakes are highest and the pressure is on, your single option, your one, will almost certainly be none. Mindset 3, the MacGyver principle. This isn't about carrying a Swiss Army knife with 100 functions. It's about seeing 100 functions in a single, simple object. Soldiers in the field, particularly in long-range reconnaissance or behind enemy lines, were masters of this. They weren't just users of gear, they were improvisers. Their survival often depended not on what they carried, but on how they could creatively repurpose what they had, or what they could find. They were trained to see the hidden potential in everyday objects, not just their intended function. A standard-issue tin can isn't just a container for rations. With a few holes, it becomes a stove or a heater. Polished, its lid is a signaling mirror. The can itself can be a digging tool, a scoop for water, or even a makeshift alarm when filled with pebbles and strung up. This mindset transforms your environment from a collection of static objects into a toolbox of potential solutions. This principle extends to everything. A belt isn't just for holding up your trousers, it's a tourniquet, a strap to secure gear, or a strop to sharpen a blade. A poncho isn't just rain protection, it's a shelter, a water collector, a stretcher. A single bootlace can become a snare trap, a replacement cord, or a friction saw. The soldier who sees these possibilities has an infinitely larger inventory than the one who only sees the label. This is a mental muscle, and it requires active training. It's about breaking free from what psychologists call functional fixedness, the cognitive bias that limits a person to using an object only in the way it is traditionally used. To build this muscle, you must consciously challenge that bias. Look at any object in your house right now. A credit card, a book, a coffee mug. Don't just see it, interrogate it. Ask yourself, what are 5 other things this could be? What are its properties? A credit card is a rigid, flat piece of plastic. It can be a scraper, a shim to open a locked door, a miniature shovel, or a splint for a broken finger. A book is paper and a hard cover. The pages are tinder. The cover is a hard, flat surface or a straight edge. By practicing this, you're not just memorizing a list of clever hacks. You are fundamentally rewiring your brain to see the world in terms of properties and possibilities, rather than labels and limitations. This cognitive flexibility is far more valuable than any single specialized tool you can buy. Because while a tool can be lost or broken, this mindset, once developed, is with you forever. It is the ultimate force multiplier. Mindset 4, the 80-20 rule. In survival, 80% of your results will come from mastering 20% of the skills: regulating body temperature, shelter, securing water, making fire, and signaling for help. A soldier's training was brutally focused on these fundamentals. Are you spending 80% of your time on the 20% that matters? Or are you distracted by zombie apocalypse fantasies? Master the boring fundamental stuff first. It's what keeps you alive. Knowledge is not skill. Skill is what you can do under pressure. You train your brain by introducing stress in a controlled environment. Practice your fire starting in the rain. Navigate home from an unfamiliar location without your phone. Run through decision-making drills. You're not storing information. You're building neural pathways that will fire automatically when the adrenaline hits. So, before you buy another gadget, ask yourself, am I building a better library, or am I training a better librarian? The goal isn't to have more stuff. The goal is to need less, because your mind can do more. That was the soldier's secret, and it's the ultimate survival tool you already own.